Уважаемые гости, ждем вас в нашем зале. Проходите, пожалуйста, занимайте места. Буквально через пару минут мы начнем нашу официальную часть. Я думаю, что фоновую музыку еще можно оставить немножко, пока все рассядутся. Когда мы проектировали хаб, мы думали, как же все-таки разделить пространство с правой стороны, с левой стороны. И я так понимаю, что правая сторона у нас максимально популярна. Пожалуйста, переходите на левую сторону, чтобы чувствовать себя комфортнее. Проходите, пожалуйста, присаживайтесь, мы уже начинаем. Добрый вечер. Меня зовут Ольга Сафина, я занимаюсь проектом InnoHub. Добро пожаловать в Innovecs. Сегодня вечер, когда мы стартуем с новым проектом, и, честно говоря, очень волнительно, потому что, ну, кроме того, что, я думаю, вы сюда добирались, и пробки, и парад, много вызовов перед нами стоят, говорят, скоро еще перекроют Шулявский мост, поэтому все вызовов больше, но наша задача стать такой площадкой, ради которой можно приехать и нужно приехать сюда. Мы, я думаю, уже будем начинать официальную часть. Добро пожаловать в Innovecs. И я представляю слово нашему CEO и фаундеру компании Innovecs Lutskiy.
I'm going to switch to English because we have guests who speak Russian, but not that is good, right? So anyway, hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming to our grand opening and being our special guest today. Basically, the reason we decided to build, first of all, I want to start maybe a step back. I want to actually say thank you because it took about a year to build this whole thing, right? It was a lot of emotions, problems, construction issues, right? But mainly, we end up building a great place, and I want to take the moment right now to say thank you very much to my team to make it happen. So I guess the question, what is the InnoHub, right? Why is it like another hub? Because we know, let's say today in Ukraine, we see a lot of hubs, right? There's a lot of confusion, just another hub or not. If we take back with the history of Innovecs, which we built 6 years ago, the business model that we put in place was not like a know-how as far as the service we would deliver to our clients globally. The know-how was to leverage our experience being abroad for many years. The leverage was to understanding the corporate culture, the compassion of being motivated to achieve different results, understanding the corporate governance to scale business globally, understanding, let's say, how the management works to make things happen, right? And many other things that make any company today competitive, right, in the global market. And that's one of the reasons we'll say that made Innovecs grow from zero to, I think, I can say one of the fastest growing company, at least in Ukraine, right? And today we feel that, today we have like more than 50 clients, right? And every single client has a different experience working in companies across like Amazon, Google, and any other successful companies. So I think today it's time to not only keep that as a secret inside of each company. I think today is an opportunity to really start to share that experience across the board, right? So basically we have today, like we have clients, we have investors who comes to Ukraine, right? We have a lot of successful people and companies in Ukraine that have different experience in the past, right? I think we feel it's time today to really take that and share across our industry. I think also across our young generation, right? Who will end up competing, right? On a global market, let's say not today, but definitely let's say in a couple of years. Global company come to Ukraine, you have to compete. And if we go globally, we'll also have to compete. So that's why we feel that it will be important. I think InnoHub will not be a place to teach anyone, right? We're not going to be like educational space, right? The InnoHub will be the place where we're going to leverage the experience of people with different experience. I think more from the commercial, practical, right, innovation experience to share that with our industry, with the people in our company, but also with the people outside of our company. And we're looking forward to see all of you as our future guests maybe potential speakers, potential mentors, right? Not only for us Innovecs, but also for the whole industry. And I think that would be a great place to be. So now, just to finish my speech, right, I want to show a quick video that kind of summarize what it took to get here, right, and what actually we're going to do, and then we're going to move to the next stage.
Развиваемся, берем новые вершины. Мы становимся требовательнее к другим, к себе. Мир меняется каждое мгновение, и мы хотим принимать в этом участие. Мы искатели, изобретатели и всегда в поисках лучшего. Наша страсть – постоянное развитие и новые знания. Наша цель – взаимодействие. Мы создаем активную среду для роста, используя все свои инструменты. Международный опыт, зарубежные кейсы, доступ к экспертам со всего мира и таланты Innovecs. И мы создаем для этого пространство. InnoHub. Место взаимодействия технологий и креатива. Знаний и опыта. Развития и вдохновения команд Innovecs.
Thank you. And now I would like to invite to this stage a person whose support has been crucial for our company and I think for the industry as a whole. I would like to invite the U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Eoghan.
Thank you, Alex, and congratulations to you and everybody else who's here today on the opening of InnoHub, sponsored by Innovecs. I'm really pleased to be here with all of you today, and I just wanted to say a word about the IT industry here in Ukraine. The startups, the professionals, and products are becoming much better known, including in the United States. And I think most of you are part of this profession, so I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But I think it's important to acknowledge, because we certainly see it, and I'm here with folks from the embassy in the commercial section who believe that this is one of the we know that it's one of the fastest growing sectors in the Ukrainian economy, but it's also one of the bridges between our two economies. And so it's an area that we really want to focus on. And one of the things that I, at least, have found interesting is that the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas featured a Ukrainian Tech Expo Zone this past year, which is, I think, again, a reflection of where this industry is going. The other thing, just as kind of a fun fact, is that Ukrainian IT companies in 2017 attracted $259 million in venture capital investments, 3 times more than in 2016. But I see some skepticism here, but it's more. So how much is it? 65. All right. So I think the point is that whatever number we pick, the next day it's going to be more, because again, there's so much excitement and innovation and energy in this sector, and so clearly the sky is the limit. And InnoHub, which I had to ask exactly what that was, but again, I think there's a lot of energy here, and I think that the concept of creating a space to share experience, to share innovation, to share knowledge and kind of create new opportunities for everybody is, the time has come for this in Ukraine. And so, again, congratulations, because I think that this benefits obviously everybody here in Ukraine, it also benefits all of us in the United States as well, because I think that the world is just so interconnected right now. So again, congratulations to Alex, but congratulations to the whole team who made this possible. Thanks a lot for having us here today.
Okay. And I want to ask you to help us to start this project, please. Yeah? Thank you. Alex, come to us. Okay.
Can you share the knife? Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And now we want to start our panel discussion, and I want to ask Ola. Yes.
Thank you. Well, I would like to invite our panelists to the scene, and we will start, and I will represent everyone. Andrey, Eoghan, Vish, Alex. So we are all here. Hi everyone, my name is Olga Afanasieva. I'm the Executive Director of Ukrainian Venture Capital and Private Equity Association, which is the private association uniting 50 plus members, VC funds, private equity funds. And the number is good because it means that so much companies are investing in Ukraine, and they will continue doing this. And we will talk about this and other things now. So this year started global leaders discussing the topic that was suggested by the World Economic Forum in Davos in January, which was creating a shared future in the fractured world. Despite of the political instability and different economic issues, now is the momentum to speaking up, the momentum to basically change our position in the world. And that's why we will focus today on the topic which sounds as the new era of Ukraine on the global market. And now I would like to present our panelists, our professionals and warriors basically on this field. So please welcome Alex Lutskiy, who is the Innovecs CEO and founder. Andrey, Kolodyuk, who is the chairman of UVCA, Ukrainian Venture Capital Private Equity Association. He's also the managing partner of A Ventures VC fund. Please welcome Eoghan O'Donnell, who is Innovecs Chief Engineering Officer, former Amazon executive. And we also have with us today Vishal Mathur, who is Managing Director of Innovecs Europe. I would ask, please briefly introduce yourselves more detailed in just, like 20, 30 seconds, please. So let's start with Vish.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us at InnoHub, grand opening. My name is Vish Mathur. I joined Innovecs 2 months ago. I have over 20 years of experience in consulting and in telecoms, having worked for Accenture, A.T. Kearney, Telefonica, and the GSMA, which is the Global Industry Association for the mobile industry. I'm very much looking forward to driving our business forward for Innovecs in Europe and really pushing forward the brand.
Welcome everybody, my name is Eoghan O'Donnell. I have over 20 years also in the software development industry. Started out in Ireland. I'm from there too. With Symantec, moved on to McAfee, and eventually the last 4 years with Amazon. So I'm certainly happy to be here amongst everybody in the Ukraine.
Hello, everyone. I'm pleased to be here. Probably everyone in the audience knows me, so I'm going to be very short. Actually, for the last 20 years, I've been building businesses and investing in other entrepreneurs that actually building global companies. And this is my mission to actually transform the Ukraine. We're talking about digital transformation, but we're also talking about the country transformation that Ukraine have been for the last 25 years. And the IT industry now, which is, we call it simple, it's the third biggest economy in Ukraine, but it's a private economy, okay? This is what we have built together for the last 20 years, and I believe that it's going to be a great success for us and Ukraine because of that. Thank you.
My name is Alex Lutskiy. I'm the co-founder of company. My background is very simple. I spent almost 20 years in the United States working across different companies within IT industry, right? Between finance, high tech, and retail. And I think last it's already 7 years. Time is flying. So last 7 years, I'm here in Kyiv. I moved here back in 2010 for 1 year, and up for 7. And I think basically my mission, right, to build, not only build the Innovecs as like another successful company, but also I think working with the industry leaders like Andrey to make changes not only in the industry, but also in the country, right, to make things move in the right direction.
Thank you. So now we are more acquainted, so let's start our discussion. And I would like to stop at the point that now we're all dealing with the huge technological change with artificial intelligence, with automation of many business processes. So what is waiting for the workforce? What is waiting for businesses? And companies currently are in the need of transformation of their business models, of their usual activities in order to keep up with the global changes in the global, with the global trends. And if I may ask you, let's start with you, Alex, what companies can do in order to succeed in this basically global race?
No, I think from my experience right now, being outside of Ukraine, I feel that the transformation not only is happening right now in IT, but it's happening, I think, across entire business, especially in Ukraine. Because we're not talking today that we go outside of Ukraine and compete with global companies. Actually, we see right now the trend that the global company comes into Ukraine, right? And if you want to compete with them, you have to be different, right? And different doesn't mean, let's say, that you have to put more money into it, right? Different, you have to basically you have to change the mindset, you have to change the system itself that allow people to be passionate what you do, because if you're not passionate, you're not going to deliver anything. And it also requires a change in the management side, right? Because when we're doing people who actually understand how to scale businesses, how to work with the global clients, right? Because once you go global, right, it's a completely different approach, right? The mindset, how you're going to compete, right? And I think if we look today in Ukraine, I think that's probably for the next 2-3 years. I think that's what's going to happen, right? And we see right now, not only in IT, we see in other sectors. People start to realize that they have to go invest more money, right, into the stronger management, to build strong corporate governances, right? They have to get the global experience, maybe potentially bring people from outside of Ukraine into Ukraine, right, to help them to compete globally, right, going forward.
Yeah, thank you. Vish, please.
Thanks, Alex. I'd like to compliment what Alex said, actually. Look, taking a European perspective and taking a customer-centric perspective as a consultant in my previous employment, if you take a 60,000 feet view, you're absolutely right. There's absolute disruption, austerity, need for change happening on one side of the coin, and on the other side, innovation in the form of blockchain, database cleansing due to GDPR, AI and machine learning. It's all happening everywhere. As a technology service provider such as ours, as a solution engineering provider such as Innovecs, I think there are three ingredients on top of international management experience. One is we need to be able to relate to customers, the actual stakeholders in these companies, CMOs, CTOs, who are having to continue to trade very hard in their industries whilst transforming. It's really hard. So that means we need to have empathy. Number two, we need to be unique in the sense that we need to understand what our value proposition is. What are we bringing to the table to these companies? Let's use the old word, let's forget about the old word of outsourcing and offshoring. This is not what we're talking about. We're here to partner and provide innovative solutions to meet their problems. And number three, as companies ourselves, we should continue to invest in retaining our very good, skilled labor force in terms of knowledge build, in training, and give them the exposure to some of these great industry dilemmas that we're facing.
Thank you. Andrey, you're investing in the companies that building global businesses, and they are coming out of Ukraine. They relocated their management teams to US. And what are your thoughts on the question? Like, how do we compete? How do we position our companies and countries the best?
Well, we all know expression, the world is small, right? But in IT industry is even smaller. Everyone is compete with each other 24/7. This is a fact. This is just reality what we are living in. And in terms of startups, I believe truly what is called in Silicon Valley as an ecosystem, I believe it's already exists in Ukraine, and it's based on three pillars. One is it's energy, people, and the knowledge transfer. And what I believe, how we can compete as a Ukrainian cluster globally, is constantly exchanging our current experience, how we are successful. And this applies to all thousand startups in Ukraine. If you are successful in something, just share this with your colleague, because in the end, it's gonna make us stronger as a cluster if you're gonna share this. This is what we are promoting, okay? Not only among our portfolio companies. Yes, Ventures is investors in 20 companies. But if you look at our founders, they constantly find the time to share their practical experience with their colleagues, how they become successful. Why? Because knowledge is obsolete, okay? What we are successful today is not gonna work tomorrow. That's why you're gonna share this immediately with your colleagues, and this is how we're gonna become successful. And I believe that, this is what I heard from Alex, the mission of the InnoHub is also become a platform to share this knowledge with the other colleagues to make us stronger and more competitive. This is my secret recipe, but it's not secret any longer because I shared it with you, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's already happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is my giveaway, and this is you should also follow this. I'm constantly sharing this knowledge.
Super great, and this is very close to my next question I would like to address to Eoghan firstly and to the others later. So what I wanted to talk about is that Ukraine was historically the country of resources. So, but this is like the short-term plan. Yeah, we need to go to the next stage. We need to go up. We need to be the, if I may say, the equal partner on the global market. So basically to transit from observer to manager. And you're staying in Ukraine for about 2 months.
Yeah, 2.5 months.
Yeah, and your impressions are kind of fresh. What are your visions on how to make this transition, to how to make this shift less painful and more effective?
Yeah, I think to build on what was just said, right? So Ukraine needs leaders, right? And you need leaders across all the disciplines, certainly from software engineering. You know, what I've witnessed in the last couple of months is that there's plenty of computational brain power out there and engineers. But if you look across the whole life cycle of the software development life cycle world, there's pieces of it that are missing. I think Ukraine, historically, you know, you give engineers here a problem and they'll solve the problem for you. Yeah. But I think we need to be seen as a country who can build product, right, end to end. Designers, do we have that capability? How do we get that capability? So how are you going to do that? I think partnership with other companies, organizations, grow that talent, and eventually grow it organically. So a lot of it comes down to knowledge transfer, like you were saying, right? So how can we bring leaders with other capabilities here to the Ukraine, have them educate us, right? Grow those disciplines, and perform that knowledge transfer. Then you've got something you can export.
Thank you. Do you want to add something?
Can I just add one sentence? So from exporting brains, let's export projects and products.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Absolutely, completely agree. And take on another aspect here. It is moving this country from a country of supply to a country of partnership. And in doing so, not only investing in the people and the resources coming in, but I also want to make sure that we start to see ourselves as true strategic partners that invest in vendor management, in sort of governance, and a real understanding of relationship-driven sort of environments for projects, so that actually there's a win-win for not only those who are looking to leverage our services, but also for us to build out our services going forward.
Thank you. Alex, would you like to add, or?
No, I think as you said, right, I think, from my perspective, I think to what everyone's just said, right, I think the main thing right now is just the knowledge share. I think, from my experience, let's say, maybe it's like Ukrainian culture, but I don't think there's any secret right now, right? I don't think, let's say, if one company doing something doesn't mean, let's say, like no one else knowing it, right? I think there's no secret. I think the more we share the information, the more we leverage the experience across different areas, I think we're going to be more stronger in the industry, right? And I think once we become more stronger in this industry, we're going to come back, right, to our clients, not as a kind of supply country of the, let's call it, cheap labor, right? Because it's not cheap labor anymore, right? We have to really come back right now as the consulting company, a company with expertise, because the pricing today is not cheap. It's pretty much very close to what you would charge today, let's say right now, in UK. So basically what we're going to expect right now from the client, they will come back and they're going to ask for added value for that price, not just basically providing the supply. So I think that's what the transformation is going to happen in the next, let's say, couple of years. I think we as a company, right, I think we pretty much right now understand that. We're trying to transition very quickly from the supply company to the company that will offer kind of solutions, right, and engineering services to our clients.
Thank you. So it was sharing, knowledge, and partnership. Yeah, and on behalf of moderating the panel, I would like to share the experience that we recently had, actually in January. It was the Ukraine House in Davos during the World Economic Forum. It was the first time ever in the history of our country when private companies united and made something that is bigger than their own businesses. It was about not only about developing the increase in sales or development businesses of each individual company, but this was about something bigger that unites every one of us. It was about the country. It was about positioning ourselves not only like the country of cheap labor or resources, but as the country of creativity, innovation, opportunity, as we called it. And I'm very happy that Innovecs was one of the first companies that supported this initiative and was among those who were, the first to show Ukraine to the world, basically to the top leaders, and to open ourselves, the country as a whole, to the global community. And this is more about the partnership. It's, of course, competition is important in businesses, but there are some aims that should unite all of us and that should drive us. And here I'm talking about synergy. So let's talk about this force, this power of unity that help or, not help our businesses. What are your thoughts regarding this? Why do we need it or we don't need it? Let's compete and that's all.
Disrupt or be disrupted. That's something that I learned in the past 5 years at the GSMA. I have been part of the telecoms industry for a while, and if you look at that industry, it's gone from EBITDA margins of 35% down to 20, 25, whatever. Sales CapEx ratios are flying high because they have to invest in network. Now, it's a different business. The point is, I completely agree that there is a real benefit in collaboration and unity in industry. And I learned from my learned friend here, in this market, there's no regulation, which is fantastic. Let market forces drive. The problem is the government gets interested, right? That's the issue. But let me just put the sort of point out there. The fact is, if if you can get the CEOs of these key private companies to come together on the next level playing field that they need to aspire to, what are the common denominators that you as an industry in the IT industry need to attract more investment into Ukraine, or to export your business out? At the moment, it might be brand exposure, it might be presence, whatever it might be. It might be more platforms like Davos. But those are the things that are non-compete. They don't affect each other's businesses, but they create the next platform of growth. And I truly believe that's the next thing that needs to happen here. It will really, truly make sure that the Ukrainian IT industry is not disrupted by some other, country within the bloc, I guess. That's one point.
Thank you.
Well, obviously now the competition among the companies, but also among the countries, and the Davos as a World Economic Forum has been held for the last 15 years. And this year, everybody said that from economic forum it's transformed into technology forum. This just shows the importance how technology is now become an instrument for the global politics, economy, etc. And for us, as a Ukraine, it's ability to actually to be interested partner, okay, in this global play that's happening as we speak, right? So, and obviously that's also the place when we can compete not only with the countries, but also compete with companies. Because, for example, in Davos, our neighbor was Accenture on the left, right? And I know that some of Ukrainian IT companies actually won in tenders with Accenture, okay? This is the experience that we're gonna share. Because if you ask me how I see the future of Ukraine, I can tell you that I see the company emerging out of Ukraine that are gonna compete and is gonna win with the companies like Accenture, okay? This is what I can see currently, and this I can see. But we need to share this knowledge also with our colleagues. And once again, there is no single persons now actually competing. It's actually teams, right? And we should be one team when we are presenting Ukraine as a cluster globally, because we can show how we competitive in what areas, what verticals, and show actually projects. That's what I say. Just show projects, because world is hungry for the disruptive, not only technologies, but actually the cases, what they actually do good for the public say, for the company, right? So we need to showcase them. We have such a cases, we just need to show the world. For example, in the one of the 14 events that we have a Robot Sophia on the panel, right? And the guy was actually promoting SilGravity.net as an open source SDK to actually build robots and actually make introduction to the Alex, because the guy was hungry for the people that can deliver this, okay? He's just hungry. And this is a global play, because the guy was hunting for the talent globally, okay? And I know that he was talking to a few companies in Ukraine, but this is what's happening as we speak, right? Blockchain. It's the other topic. Everybody is already tired of the word blockchain, but as an insider, we actually tired to look for the company can deliver anything on the blockchain protocols as we speak. Because, for example, one of our companies actually disrupting the media and advertisement industry, and we cannot find the partners that can actually deliver what we want to establish on the blockchain protocol as we speak. Somebody say, yeah, it's too early. But hey, it's a global play, meaning it's an opportunity for this, and welcome to Ukraine. This way you can find people to actually can enable to deliver this. And I can go on many verticals, but overall, this is what we can show as an industry, because at the end, believe, with all respects, nobody will remember Innovecs. I don't remember that. I said Ukrainian guy. Okay, Ukraine is good. Okay, I go there. This is what happened after the Davos, when actually people come over for Ukraine discovery tour. Just take a flight. This is a guy from Robot Sophia. He just came for, in 3 days after Davos, he was in Kyiv. How come? Because we made him interested. This is how it works.
Yeah, welcome.
Can I respond back, Andrey? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. You remember, you're in Ukraine, it's a free country. You can
No,
don't be politically correct. You just say what you want. Yeah.
To play devil's advocate to what you're saying, anything that has commercial value to it, like blockchain development or AI, ML, whatever it might be, it will be very difficult to get private industry CEOs to come together and collaborate on it, because it has commercial value to it. you're absolutely right to say Ukraine needs to raise its profile
That's right.
in the global scene. But I think it's very hard to get CEOs to all agree, in my experience, on something that's going to be competitive advantage, potentially.
Yeah, but that was just a place when actually you can pitch Bill Gates, blockchain. Okay, this is what happened. Not only Robert Sophia.
No, I was going to say, I mean, I come from Ireland, obviously, and Ireland doesn't have a lot of natural resources. But the one thing they do have is their people. We got potatoes. Okay, we have potatoes too. Potato doesn't even come from Ireland, actually. You guys gave it to us. But our people are the natural talent, right? And you find a lot of is public-private partnership, right? The CEOs come together with the government and they create a platform to advertise the country. And I think if I look at the Ukraine to me is where Ireland possibly was 1990, 1995, right? On the cusp of, if you've heard of it, the Celtic Tiger. And I think Ukraine needs something similar right now to really give them that boost. Back to the last question, leadership is what is needed. Now give those leaders a platform to launch Ukraine.
No, I just want to add, going back to Davos, right? I think the one good thing was that, because besides that first of all, competitions, I think for me, it's very good because, for our company, the more competition, that makes our company stronger, right? We see the competition, we go 2 miles, above that, right? So that's good. But I think going back to Davos is that this is the first time we've actually, I think 7 companies where we got together, because besides the competition, there's a lot of problems that we all have as a company. For example, people living in Ukraine, that's the problem, not for individual companies, that's the problem for all the companies, right? There's a lot of common problems, right, that we can solve if we get all the CEO of the big companies together. There's nothing to compete here. I think if we can find ways to make Ukraine, right, and the IT industry increasingly more attractive financially, right, and from the other perspective, right, people won't leave, right, because there's a lot of discussion right now, people leaving. I think we see that, I know it's actually going up, but I think it just keep going. And I think if we want to stop that, we have to get together and figure out, let's say, what needs to be done, maybe not only on the business side, but also maybe from the government side to make things more attractive. So I think that's what I'm saying. So I think competition is fine, but I think we have to get together, right? And there's a lot of open items for every single company to discuss and maybe come up with some kind of solution that can be presented to for example, to the government, right? And make things workable.
Thank you. You've also mentioned the sharing of knowledge, learning, and so on. So let's talk about education, which organically comes from the competing on the global level and putting Ukraine on the global agenda during the new era, as our topic says. And if we want to do something new, we need to learn new things. Our people, employees in the companies, and everyone should learn something new. So they need to be educated, they need to be also empowered. And I've read very interesting distinction between these two things, which says that education informs us, shows us how to reach for the stars, if you will, and empowerment gives us the permission to do so. So it's equally important to do both things. And the question to you, to the professionals, is the following. What do you do in your companies in order to educate people and in order to definitely empower them to reach for the stars? Who would like to start?
Me? Okay. No, I think for me personally, right, I always distinguish 2 ways of education. One is the hard skills and one is the soft skills, right? I think today, hard skills, probably you can go to any school where you can go online, you can get those hard skills. If you want to be, let's say, a programmer, you can get those. I think what you cannot get from going to school, right, or going anywhere, let's say, I think usually question, let's say, if you have a $200,000 right now, right, and you need to invest $50,000 each year, you're gonna put this $50,000 to education for hard skills, so you're gonna put, let's say, $50,000 to, let's say, to work 1 year, let's say, in Amazon, 2nd year in Facebook, 3rd year, let's say, in Google, maybe 4th year in Apple, right? So, I think that's what distinction you have to make. I think for me, I'm a strong believer, let's say, that if you want to be like entrepreneur, right? If you want to be like a top manager, you want to be the guy that want to scale the business, for me, the soft skills, gaining from the real experience, is much more important than getting the hard skills. But again, everyone is different. I know, let's say, as our company, we went through this exercise of what's called MBTI, right? Which basically tells you who you are. Because you might go to the test and figure out, let's say, you will never be the guy that can run the business, right? So there's no reason for you to go. I mean, you can still go and change that, but most likely, right, that's what you can do. So, and I think, like I said, I think education is important. I think if the person looking forward to get the hard skills to go to work and get, like be like a developer, be like, I don't know, like a physician, something else, definitely hard skills is very important. Let's say if you want to go into the business sector, right, then I think again, my personal perception would say soft skills. That's basically what I got from, right? I worked for about like 6 different companies in the US, right? I came back, I came from Ukraine like in 1995. I got the education, but can't really use anywhere, right? And think basically because I was jumping into the companies, everything got today just because I learned that from those companies I work for, right? The actual commercial, practical experience that I'm actually leveraging to build these companies. So for me, education, yes, but the question would say education within soft skills, education with the hard skills.
Yeah, I'll add to what Alex said. I mean, I think for me, there's 2 areas that I think I'd like to see improve, both educational related, partnerships between universities. Give students some positive outlook, right? So internships, certainly promote that, bring interns in. Secondly is, we call them 3rd-year projects, where I come from, right? And, bring students in, let them experience the working environment, let them contribute to that, let them build on that. And it's a great thing for companies to be able to identify talent, leadership, and grow them from their university years. So again, introduce programs across the university domain that give students an outlook.
Please.
Sorry. Look, I'm 45, so I'm a bit of a old artifact compared to the generation that are truly entrepreneurial in this country. So I'm sure the majority of Gen Y, Gen Z, who sit there, develop on their phones and end up creating a new app, have probably need of a couple of things. One is mentorship, perhaps influencers within the industry that they can follow, that they can find access to. And second is infrastructure or some sort of structure. A great tech cluster like, is it Unit? That's the new tech cluster. That has an academy, has access to new learning and development to allow people to thrive and build their new services or build a new startup, whatever it might be, is vital in an industry that's maturing right now.
Let me ask you this, everyone in the audience. Do people like to work in the cool companies, right? Yeah, obviously, rhetorical question. But what makes company cool and why? So in my view, it's the founders. Because companies is based on the founders' energy, okay? And I believe in self-education and a role model, okay? Everybody says, okay, I want to work with Alex Lutskiy. Why? Because he's cool as Elon Musk. That's why, okay? So, okay, just an example, okay? Don't take it. Not as rich. Not yet, okay? So, but my point is very simple. I believe in self-education, but I believe in the founders that actually make people motivated not to work, to live, okay? To live what company wants. Actually, basically, the founder needs to sell the future and get people engaged on one space, okay? Space shuttle, whatever. If the founders don't sell that future of the company, I don't see successful stories when the company is actually successful. And from my experience for the last 20 years, if the founders are cool, this is going to be success. And the people will follow cool founders. That's it, okay? Welcome to the cool company. And cool project, which is Innovation Hub, InnoHub.
So, and to follow up this saying about the founders, so the importance of the founder, do you think that people should be born being able to innovate, or is this something that people can learn through their lifetime education, experience, whatever? Or like, is it just the thing you're born with, or you can gain it?
It's a constant learning. just constant learning. That's it. Because you as a magnet, you just attract the people, okay, that actually have a cool expertises. This is how you do exchange and make everyone is more successful, more, I don't know, just more, okay? More cool, okay?
You got to give people a reason to learn, you know, and
Empower.
how they can contribute back to society, right? And we look at, you know, in the development world, we use a lot of open source. And one of the cool things is that you get to contribute back to open source. And you get to build a platform for others to learn. So, again, you gotta keep that cycle going.
Yeah, sharing. You're welcome.
And my same point around having a financial infrastructure to allow for people to be cool, to innovate,
Exactly.
and to learn. I don't think people don't innovate. There is an innate ability, but it's also a learnt sort of educational sort of thing. But if you have the money, the backing, whether it's foreign direct investment, whether it's VC, whether it's crowdsourcing, whether it's large investment companies that want to, you know, leverage great innovative ideas, it will happen. That's what's happened in Africa and Asia, where there's social entrepreneurship, you know, where there's humanitarian crises development in Central America and LATAM. Thematically, it can happen.
Welcome Ukraine. We have a constant crisis for the last 25 years. That's why we build an industry.
Fantastic.
We have
Despite
challenges all the time.
Yeah, despite of crisis.
It means there's plenty of problems to solve, right? The roads.
Yeah, well, I think, well, we can talk for a lot of time, but, well, the topic is broad and there are a lot of issues to discuss, but we're kind of running out of time. So there are two ways we can ask the audience if they have a question. Roman? Hello.
First, congratulations. Hello, everyone. My name is Roman Zinchenko. I'm co-founder of Greencubator. And that's really the impressive trend of the smart technology companies creating the launch pads for innovations, the growth pads for innovations. The trend we see in our market in the sector of green innovations is that the venture capital, the classical venture capital, is sometimes having the capital cycles, innovation cycles shorter than the green technologies required, so the corporate ventures stepped in. And here we see the clear case. So the big innovative solutions provider is taking a step ahead and say, okay, let's create the growth platform here. Do you see the platform as a connection point for other corporates? Would you be bringing in other corporates as a partners here? And will you be spinning some of the knowledge to build the new platforms maybe across the sectors as joint partnerships? Or will it be like Innovecs exclusive innovation platform? Thank you.
Thank you. No, actually, we're not going to distinguish this only for Innovecs or even for IT industry. I think if we look across every single company today, right, everyone has the same problems. Regardless if it's IT business, agribusiness, you know, like FMCG business, right? I think everyone has the same problem and everyone has different experience to share. I think the idea of InnoHub to really get everyone here, and I think I just met the guy this morning, he actually brought a very good example that what we just bring, let's say, 3 different companies, one from retail, one from IT, one, let's say, from some other industry, because we might have cross different problems, but also ideas to share. So I think, going back to the question, I think InnoHub, I mean, we want to, like I said before, it's not going to be like educational space. It will be the space so that we can get anyone and share different experience. I think make everyone stronger to compete, because eventually, you know, we see today, let's say, we see a lot of global company comes into Ukraine, right? We should be able to compete, right? And in order to compete, let's say, we have to share the experience. Everyone has a different experience, and I think that will be the InnoHub right force. So if you have any ideas, let's say, have any thoughts to share, please bring them in red, and we'll look up some events for you as well.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for this discussion. My name is Alena, and I'm the board member of Corporate Accelerator, the first corporate accelerator in Ukraine, Radar Tech. And my question is about the absence of legal support here in Ukraine is an obstacle for development of innovations in our country, or help, let's say. I don't know how to translate волшебный пендель in English, but okay, let's it be
Magic
push something. So is it helps or don't? Thank you.
We don't know other conditions, I believe.
Can you specify your question? What do you mean by legal conditions?
Vish said that the absence of,
okay.
of law
No, he didn't
the
say
moment.
that. Yeah, okay. You can say it, right. No, what he meant that in Ukraine we do have a special regulation, okay, and special licensing, and special budget programs, and special anything from the government, from this sense. So we literally live in the free world.
Let's say nothing from the government. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why we build, and we are the only country in the world that actually didn't get anything from the government, and we built the very 110% private industry that's successful. Okay. So look, at some point, if you ask about the laws, of course, some laws are important. For example, and some laws don't need to imply, especially I believe in blockchain world. If we don't regulate this, all investors around the world will come to Ukraine because it's not regulated, okay? Just because of this. So the longer we don't regulate it, the better for the industry, because I'm a truly believer, and this is very serious, because this is already based on our experience. I believe in self-regulation, right? UVCA as a platform for investors, we also self-regulated, meaning we don't take anyone as a members, okay? We have a democratic process. If somebody have a bad reputation, we just don't take him as a member, okay? We just kind of exclude him from the ecosystem if the guy is gonna do something wrong, regardless. We don't call the police, we just kind of, push him out, okay, squeeze him out, that's it. So I believe in self-regulation for many industries, and IT especially, because innovation is happening so fast, right? You just don't need to control it, okay? That's my point, right? Obviously, we are still regulated by criminal law, just for which, just accurate. Because don't get it literally, we still have a criminal law. Okay, good, all right, that's it. So.
Thanks. My question was only in the content of Belarusian experience. That everybody, it was like, wow, okay, right now we will get the blockchain unicorns in a few weeks. It didn't happen, sorry.
Yeah, but there are some specifics which are not pronounced, in terms of Belarusian regulations, so it's a totally different example.
Yeah, it's a different story, but still, I believe in us. That's it. So
okay.
We made it, we can make much more for the country.
So I believe we ran out of time. And I would like to thank you for this nice discussion. And we definitely had a panel, not a manel. And congratulations with the opening of the InnoHub. So thank you. Как красиво. Весь мир узнал.